Hey church, hope you're well. At the end of last year, I did what probably most of you did and spent some time between Christmas and New Year's just reflecting on the year that had been and thinking about the year that was to come. And I realised that in my life, I was in a state of transition between seasons in a lot of different areas. Most importantly, at home, we were awaiting the arrival of Harriet and thinking about what that transition between a family of three and a family of four might look like. As a church family, we were looking forward to Pastor Mark and Bernie coming and again thinking about what that might mean and what that might look like and the exciting things that might bring along with it as well. And I realised that in that state of transition between seasons, there can sometimes be a tension, like a restlessness, almost an impatience to get on and do something, but not sure what exactly that is. And as I just spent some time with God in that sort of time and that moment, just asking Him for some encouragement, some attributes of God's character that should come through in these times of transition. And I was led to the same verses that Pastor Mark shared on the first Sunday that he preached with us at Compass, the creation story out of 1 Genesis. It's a great account of God creating something new, and out of that I picked up on just 3 encouragements which I'd like to share with you today, and hopefully they're an encouragement for you as well. I won't read all of it, but here's just a little bit of the first verses. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. And evening passed and morning came, marking the first day. And this kind of pattern repeats itself 6 more times as, I guess, God sees a need, something that's lacking in creation, and then creates it. And on the 6th day, He creates Adam and Eve. And I think it's interesting, and this is the first sort of encouragement, it's interesting that God creates Adam and Eve last. He doesn't create them first and then charge them with the expectation that they would then go out and build the earth and the creation and the trees and the birds. He built the new season, the new environment, and then when that season was ready and right, then He brought Adam and Eve into it and He revealed that to them. And so I think the encouragement there sits for us as well, that creation is God's work. In this season, as we're trying to look out and discern for what's new, God is doing something new. And when the season's right, when the time's right, He'll bring us into it and reveal it to us. The second thing is that when He created Adam and Eve, He spent a fair bit of time just talking them through what this creation looked like, where the boundaries were, how they were to interact with this creation, what their role was in it. So the second encouragement is that God is vocal through this season. And we see it in the way that He actually creates stuff. He speaks into darkness, He speaks into emptiness and creates something new. And then He brings us along the journey. He doesn't just throw us or thrust us into something new and expect us to know how to navigate that on our own. So I want to encourage you that God does speak to us and He wants to speak to you. And you've probably experienced that over the first few days of this prayer and fasting period. And if not, I pray that continues in the rest of this time, that as we spend time and seek God's heart, that He would be speaking really clearly to you about what this new season might be. And the third one was just the purpose of His creation. You know, why does He create new seasons? Why does He create these new places and spaces? And the answer, I think, is reflected throughout the Bible in lots of different stories where God intervenes to transition either the Israelites from one situation to the next, or in our own salvation story, in the method that He brings Jesus to the earth, lives that life, dies in our place, then resurrects. The sole purpose of Him creating something new is relationship. And there's 3 areas of that. First is directly with us, with you. His desire is to get to know you more and more and for you to know Him more and more. And so I pray that as we spend this time in prayer and fasting, that as you draw close to God, He'd just be revealing a new aspect of Himself to you, a new part of His love, His mercy, His peace to you. He also does it to create relationship with His church. There's so many times where in seasons of transition, people are brought together, are unified, and God's heart and desire is to dwell in amongst that, in our meetings, in our life groups, in our youth group meetings, in our times on Sunday. And so whatever God is creating, whatever this newness thing is, that there will be a new sense of unity and a greater sense of unity for us as a church, and we'll get to know God in a new aspect as a church, as a congregation. And finally, the third, I guess, relationship aspect is he creates something new to create opportunities and space and place for people that don't yet know him to come to know him. And so I think the encouragement is that, while we might know exactly what God's doing right now, there is an aspect of that which is purely to see your friends, your family, your colleagues come to know Christ. So I pray that, as we finish out this time of prayer and fasting, as God makes his plans more and more aware to us as they're revealed to us, that we'd be seeking to find those opportunities to build relationship first, personally, us and God, us as a church family, but as importantly, that we'd be finding those opportunities to introduce the people that we know in our world that don't yet know God to him. So I just pray that, God, you would be continuing to create new things in our world, that you would be speaking to us throughout this process, that you'd be highlighting new opportunities and new areas of us to grow deeper in our relationship with you, that you'd be unifying us as a church as we together spend this time in prayer and fasting, and that we would be seeking opportunities to present you to the people in our world that don't yet know you, Father. Amen. Well, looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Bless you all.